Hello, welcome to another Sonic Lab special. What with Modal Electronics just down the road, we were gagging to get Paul and the team back in to show us a little bit more about the 008, which is the new analog engined poly. So here you are.
Yeah.
So impress us.
Okay, well, we've got a few more pads and things because a lot of people have asked us for some more paddy type sounds. So one of the things I wanted to show you is some of the pads we've got here. So if I just play a few.
Is that modulating an LFO speed?
Yep, so we've got one LFO modulating the rate of another.
Oh, that's nice.
So it gives you a very sort of, very sort of atmospheric-y type sounds. We got some big classic warm type pads. This is one of you, it's got a little bit of PWM on there just for you, Nick.
Thank you so much.
I put in one with a bit of phasing, so just to give us a bit of variety in tone.
And this is done by the filter?
Yep. So this is a 3-pole phase shift with a low pass, which is one of my favourite filters because you get a nice sort of swishy sound. And I've just got the filter inverted, the envelope. So.
This was one of the things that kind of has struck me a little bit. I mean, 15 filter types seems like a little bit excessive. Have you just made 15 so you get a nice round set of LEDs in there, or is there a real kind of need for that many modes?
Well, we wanted to bring a lot of tonal variety to the sound. Traditional oscillators, you've got a few raw waveforms and 1 or 2 filters if you're lucky. So by doing this, we can do a lot more with a raw sound than you can do with most other polysynths.
And have you got a sound in there that we could change up the filter type just to kind of hear what's going on?
I've got this sound here. Somebody asked if on Facebook, I think it was, if we could use the Animator to control the filter mode. So I did a quick demo for a sound, and here's one I've got where the Animator's changing the filter mode in quite a rhythmical kind of way.
Well, that sounds like it's very Zimmer-esque.
Yeah, it's quite sort of dark, sort of foreboding kind of sound.
So you're using the Animator just to basically step through the...
Yeah, I mean the Animator's actually got 3 rows running here. I've got 1 row controlling the filter cutoff, so you can see the LED doing a little dance. Sorry, filter mode. 1 row's controlling the cutoff and 1 row's controlling the resonance. So I can bring the resonance up. Yeah, I bring it up on the 7th or 8th step. So you just get a beep at the end.
So just to recap, because the Animator, I still think some people aren't quite sure. I know I'm not entirely sure what it is. It's a step sequencer per
note. So it's triggered when you press a note. So when you play it, it starts doing its animation thing. In this case, there's 8 steps, and then it just keeps cycling the 8 steps.
But you can have up to 12 parameters.
You can have up to 12 parameters changing at any time. I've got 3 here at the moment.
But that's on top of the sequencer and the...
Arpeggiator and everything else. So yeah, you can have the sequencer, the arpeggiator and the animator all running at the same time.
Right, so what we're hearing there is all the... Right, okay. But if we were to like start from scratch and kind of... Because I think you know, the raw waves are... obviously a building block. These are also, they're VCOs, right?
These are VCOs, so they're discrete component VCOs. They're not custom chips or anything funky like that. So this is just raw VCOs, and the same with the filter. Everything is discrete components.
So what have we got here?
So here we've got basically just a single sawtooth. The filter is a 4-pole filter, and a basic, simple envelope doing a traditional sort of filter sweep.
This is one sawtooth, right?
This is just one sawtooth, yep. If I go to the mixer page, you can see there I've just got one sawtooth up. I can bring up other sawtooths. Turn the sawtooth on. There you go. So, putting in a bit of fine tuning. You already start building up quite a warm sound. I know one of your particular favourites is pulse width. So,
how did you guess?
I can tell. So we'll do a little bit of pulse width type sound. So we'll turn on the pulse width wave, set them to sort of somewhere around half. And then when we want to route something to it, we just hold down the LFO2 button and I will route it to the pulse width on oscillator 2 by that value. Then I turn the depth up. It's going a little fast.
And can I turn this one down? We just hear the one.
There you go.
What's it like in the lower registers?
Quite dark.
Yeah, no, it's got that good sort of beefy.
Yep.
So I mean, you know, because obviously an 8 voice, but you can stack and unison and do all of those.
Yeah, we can do all those really cool things too. So if we bring that back in, we'll put LFO1 onto pulse width of that one. Just two are kind of beating against each other.
So it's a double pulse width. I'm in heaven.
Yeah, should keep you going for quite a while. What we can then do, we can then bring in, if you want to play with the stack modes, we can go into a mono mode. So here we've got one voice and you've got a sort of first note priority.
Right.
So if I do the...
Right.
So
Okay.
that kind of type sound. We've then got Unison mode, which is the same thing, but here you can choose a number of voices to stack, so you can go all the way up to 8. But if you want, you can have 4 and just have 4 voices. So it's not quite so big, so you won't kill your sound engineer.
Right.
And then we have the halfway house. This is somewhere between poly and somewhere between unison. So here I've got a stack size of 4, and as I've got 8 voices, I can play 2 notes at the same time. But each note plays 4 voices and
Right.
triggers 4 voices.
So fairly huge.
Yeah.
And that, I know it's good also aftertouch going on there to the filter, right?
Yeah,
So you can
again,
read
we've
that.
got aftertouch routed to the filter cutoff. You just hold down the button and say how much you want to
Right,
go
gotcha.
route to it.
So some more pads, I think, because obviously that's what people are going to be really kind of
Yeah.
interested in hearing, aren't they?
Okay, let's go for this one, which is inspired by a late 70s, early 80s TV show, I think I can say. So it's got a nice sort of warmth and a bit of movement going on there.
And what's the filter? That's a 4-pole.
That's
as
a
well,
4-pole low pass, fairly classic one. This is Ashrar's Temple, I've called this one, because I'm a big fan of Ashrar and he likes those big sort of phasey type sounds.
And this is a slightly unusual filter type, isn't it? Because it's
Yeah, this has got a 3-pole phase shift in it, so it moves the sound as you sweep in
What does
the
that
filter.
look like on the actual screen? Because we can see the representation
So
of that.
basically you get a low pole shelf here and you get the phase symbol to show it's doing a bit of phase shifting at
Right,
the same
okay.
time. So you can...
So if you would have just changed the filter type there,
Yep.
you'd presumably be able to hear quite dramatically
Yeah,
what...
so if we take that sound and we swap to 1-pole, sounds quite different to what it did originally. We can go to a 3-pole.
Yeah.
It's got slightly darker, and a 4-pole even darker, and you've got all the notches that let you do all those big sort of swooshy sounds.
What about, because one thing I'm a big fan of is the harmonics you get with a high pass filter.
Mm-hmm.
Can it do that sort of sing-songy thing?
Yeah, I think so. Let's have a go. So I've got a start sound again, simple sawtooth. Let's go for a 3-pole high pass. Do that and crank up the resonance a bit. So yeah, we can do all those kind of things as well.
And I noticed that we've also got the ability to, in terms of multi-timbrality, because
Mm-hmm.
we've got the 8 voices and each one of them sounds like it's going to do a fairly decent mono voice.
Yep.
How much multi-timbrality is going on?
So we've got 2-part multi-timbrality in
Right.
there. So you'll be able to have 2 sounds, a split for upper and lower, pads, basses, whatever you want to do. But yeah, it's 2-part multi-timbral.
Right, gotcha. So anyway, I sidetracked you there. You were going to show me some more pads, I think. So
Yes, right, let's go for some of these. This is one that someone made up fairly earlier today. So we've got some nice rich sounds there. I'm a huge fan of Tangerine Dream from the early 80s, so I've got a kind of inspired big sort of warm sweepy sounds. We got this one which is quite complicated, as I say, we showed it earlier with the 2 LFOs modulating each other.
Right.
This is quite a good demonstration of the different filter modes. So this is a 1-pole low pass. If I swap it to say a 2-pole low pass, the resonance kicks in, bring it down. It's a little bit darker. Swap it to a 3-pole, bring the resonance back up again. They're all slightly different, so they give you a lot of sort of sonic capability, what you want to do, how you want to treat things, and what you want to play with. So they all sound very different. There's not really anything that sounds the same.
Yeah, it's easy. I can hear the differences there, and obviously, when you're switching between the poles, it's not possible to morph between them.
It's not possible to morph between them. It is just a straight switch.
Right. I guess because I think we were talking about this earlier on off camera about the fact that this is all basically discrete components.
Yeah, all the voices are all discrete components. If we'd have put morphing in, it would have added so much cost and complexity to it. It would have been unviable as.
Right.
So we thought, no, let's just keep it simple. We can have the switching in there. It gives people a lot of options. If they want to do crazy things with it, we've got the Animator. They can switch modes.
So we've also got Arpeggiator. I mean, that's always a big thing, even in analog polys as well.
Let's pick one of those. Where was that one? There was a nice sort of, which I've got a bit of an aftertouch routed to the filter. If I turn on the Arpeggiator, I can have a bit of a play with the envelope.
So, am I hearing some drive in there as well?
Yeah, there is a little bit of drive. I'm going to turn that off.
That affects the tone quite a lot as well.
Yeah, it gives you, it's another sort of extra range of tonal variation. So you've got the 15 plus the drive gives you sort of 30 different types of filter sounds you can do things with.
And it's switchable on here, because I know on the 002 you've got a variable drive.
Yeah, the drives are in slightly different places. So on 002 it's saturates the transistor ladder filter more. This one, it does it in a very different way, in a very unique way. So it's different. And we did that intentionally because we didn't want one to sound like the other. Yeah,
well, it does sound quite different, doesn't it? So,
thank you.
Well, carry on. I'm sure people would rather hear you play than me talk.
Okay. I got this. People ask about the hard sync as well. So on this sound, I've used the VCF envelope to sweep the filter. I've also used the VCF envelope to sweep the pitch of VCO2, which is synced to VCO1.
Right. And
I've also used it to sweep the pulse width of VCO2. So this is a pulse width sound, which sounds reminiscent of certain other synthesizers that are fairly well known for doing that sort of sound.
And are you finding this, because I mean obviously you're programming some of the sounds in here, are you finding that it can be a bit chameleon-like in that way?
Yeah, it is, and it's very good because you can just sit there and playing, and all of a sudden you can just turn one knob and it's like, wow, that's a great sound, and save it. Yeah, and it takes you down roads you wouldn't normally go down because of the modulation options, the different filter modes. So nice. This is another nice warm pad. Again, just very simple, very clean, nothing elaborate. Sometimes you just want something that's a little bit simple. This is another quite
warm pad, I think they call that, sort of stringy. It's got that.
Yeah, but you can play with the resonance. And because of the way the filter shape works, it changes the cut-off slope and everything as well. So
you can really hear that there, can't you? Yeah.
And I could, for example, route LFO1 to that filter cut-off. Turn the depth up a little bit, turn the rate down so it's not quite so fast.
All right, you're modulating the resonance there, aren't you?
LFO1 is now modulating the resonance.
Interesting.
So yeah, you can do all sorts of crazy modulations with this.
Wow. So did we cover the fact that essentially you've got the same core OS running across?
Yeah, so this is running the same OS, so we've got the same sequencer. Because it's two-part multi-timbral, again it's 2 tracks rather than 12 tracks. We've got the same number of 12 rows per sequencer. We've got the same Animator, the Arpeggiator, the cloud features. It's all the same core OS, so as we add features to one, they come across the whole family.
Right. Paul, thank you so much for
no worries.
I should say, are they available now?
Yep, we've been selling these now. They've been shipping for about 2 weeks.
Right.
So
okay.
they're still fairly new, but yeah, they've been going for a while, and they're available.
And I guess it's one of those, I mean, obviously nobody's expecting this to be a bargain in terms of, super cheap synths as we're seeing a lot of these days. This is kind of, like we say, discrete analog electronics.
It's discrete analog. It's high end, it's quality. We've got a really solid construction. We've done everything we can to design these and build these to last at least 10 years. We've got solid aluminium knobs, solid case, leather on the sides. There's nothing plasticky or cheap about this. Quality keyboard mechanism from Fatar, and we've done everything we can to make it feel like an instrument rather than a toy.
Paul,
all right.
Thank you very much.
Thanks again, Nick.
Thanks everybody for watching. I hope you've enjoyed that kind of more in-depth look at the sounds. Remember, do subscribe to the channel if you want to see more great content from us. That's it. See you next time.